While the rest of the world were dealing with the coronavirus, and everyone was trying to keep their distance of at least 2 meters, my small village, which was in the middle of nowhere, had a very different type of virus. My small village, which was in the middle of nowhere, had a different type of a virus, and the only way to keep this other virus out was to keep as close to each other as possible. It was only our village, and we were told not to spread knowledge of it, and even our social media was hacked to prevent any of us to spread the message of this other virus. I do not know what they call it. Not even the newspapers or the local news could do a story on it. Our village was told to keep close to each other as much as possible with lots of social contact, and what came next was nothing but pure evil. All of the perverts and creepy people started touching who they liked on the advice that we were told to keep close to everyone. The closer the better, our village was told. The things that went on were disgusting, and females, males and children were all touched up and groped inappropriately. It was all allowed, as this was the only way to kill or slow down this other virus that only my village had unfortunately caught. Like I said, it wasn't so long when sick, perverted individuals started taking advantage of this other virus. No police official could do anything, and while the rest of the world were dealing with the coronavirus and keeping distances between themselves, we had to get physically closer to each other. Sure, there was some healthy close contact, like small village festivals, small village parties and barbecues, but it was the horrid individuals who used this to prey on their victims. It was dangerous times for us all. Those who tried to spread the news of this other virus, which you needed to have close contact to eradicate it, was always deleted by some other shadowy organization. The world was dealing with one virus, and that was enough. Everyone tried to stick with their loved ones and close friends. Hardly anyone was walking alone or going out late at night. There were stories of people going out late at night, all on their own, and a stranger starts hugging them on the reason that closeness was needed to combat this other virus. Then one day my daughter came home and was frightened to the high heavens as multiple perverts touched her up, and I was furious, but it was allowed due to this other virus. The virus has still not gone, and I would rather have this coronavirus come to us instead of what we have got. Social distancing is much better than social closeness. What a horrid virus this is, and we are given no explanation why this other virus requires closeness, and no explanation onto how it destroys it. I started hugging my daughter, and she told me I could let go, but I didn't want to let go. She then started complaining that I was being too tight, but I kept on giving the reason that we all need to be close right now. My daughter is struggling to get out of my hug. It's just me and her.
I was on my way to work taking the bus like usual. We hit some traffic, but then it cleared up and I was back on my way to work. The streets are very busy and crowded. I live in New York. It was my stop, so I got off the bus and started walking to the building where I work. I was trying to cross the street to get to my job, but there was so much traffic, so I ran across the road when I finally had a chance, and then I see a bus coming straight at me. Instead of running to the other side of the sidewalk, I instead just freeze and close my eyes and wake up on the sidewalk. Another man tackled me and saved my life, but there was no one there. That's what I felt like. I look up and there's no one there though. I felt someone push me and I didn't see anyone though. Everyone is still walking, carrying on their days as if nothing has just happened. I am a little confused and shocked, but I still have to get to work and I'm gonna be late. So I run into the building, go to my desk, and I start working. As I'm in the middle of working, I hear an alarm go off. It tells us to lock our doors, be quiet, and hide because there is an intruder inside the building. I start to panic, but I try not to worry about it too much. Maybe someone just got lost. It is only me in this room. Everyone else was in different rooms. Then another announcement comes on and tells us that the intruder has a gun. Then I start to panic, but I calm down. Then all of a sudden, I hear banging on my door, yelling at me to come and open the door or that he would shoot me. Now I start panicking a lot and thinking that this is the ending of my life. Then he says he has a hostage, and if I don't come out right away, he will kill the hostage. I didn't think he was telling the truth, but I didn't want to take any risks, so I believed him and I came out. And sure enough, it was just him and no hostage. He then grabs me and says I am his ticket out of here alive. As we're walking out, we are surrounded by cops everywhere. He whispers in my ear and tells me that since he's going down and that there's no way out of this, that I'm going down with him. So he puts his finger on the trigger, and right when he's about to pull it, he has a muscle spasm and lets go of me, and then a cop tackles him to the ground. I've never been so scared in my life. It's 5 years later and the man has just been released. He makes a public speech and the last word he says is my name and then smiles. Then he walks away. Am I nuts? Is he coming for me? Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you guys want more stories, just slap a like on this video and I'll catch you next one. I met this amazing girl online. She was so beautiful and had an amazing personality. We have been talking for now 7 months and I don't regret a second of it. I honestly feel like she's the one that I will marry someday. I am 20 years old and she is 17. We always talked about meeting, but we both had busy lives. We FaceTime every night before bed and we'll leave the phone on while we go to sleep. I know some people might think it's weird, but I feel as if it's romantic. I finally saved enough money to come and see her. She lives an hour away. She sent me her address and I was going to leave to see her for the first time tomorrow. It was the night before I was going to go see her and we were on FaceTime together. I looked at her and she looked at me and we both smiled because we were so happy to be with each other. Sometimes I felt like I could just run away with her and leave everything behind. Work in school made it so hard to see her and it both stressed me out so much. We set up our FaceTime because we are going to bed and I say goodnight to her. Then I lay in my bed with my phone right next to me and I fall asleep. I wake up in pitch dark. It must be around 4 a.m. I said to myself. As I was getting ready to go back to sleep, I hear a bang coming from my phone. So I look over at my phone and I see a man in a mask in my girlfriend's room. As I am about to scream and call the police, he looks at me, smiles and pulls out a knife and puts his finger over his mouth and says, "Shh, or someone will get hurt." So I don't say anything. Then I wake back up and it's 2 p.m. What just happened? I ask myself. I go over to my phone and it's dead. I text my girlfriend, making sure she's okay, and no response. Maybe she's still sleeping or she's busy, I tell myself. So I wait for her reply. Nothing. I wait a couple more hours. Still nothing. I was starting to freak out because she usually responds within the hour, the latest. But now it's almost been the whole day and not even one single response. I start to get very nervous and remember my dream. But maybe it wasn't a dream. My eyes widen. I have to go make sure she's okay. So I put in her address on my phone and took a ride over to her house to make sure everything was okay. I finally get there and the house is deserted, as if someone hasn't lived there in over 100 years. There's no other houses around. I get a notification from my phone saying something about a haunted house. I have this app that tells me about the location I am at, and the notification popped up and I went into the app and looked up her house, and what came up surprised me until this day. It said there was a girl who lived here with her parents, and she talked to this guy who loved her so much. They had plans to get married and run away together. But the night before they were going to do that, a man broke into the house and killed her and her parents with a knife. It says that ever since, the girl pretends she is real and gives people false hope and love so others can feel the pain she has. Then I scroll down to a picture of her, and it was the same exact picture of the girl I've been talking to this whole time.
Sarah was feeling really down on her luck, sitting in her kitchen, drowning her sorrows, drinking whiskey. She was counting her bills and felt she was sinking deeper and deeper into debt. Suddenly, she got a phone call that changed everything. There was a voice on the other end that explained her and her 3 cousins were willed a big inheritance, and they all had to meet up at a local cafe. They all were chatting about this distant relative. The relative had no other family, but looked up their relatives online and decided to leave a huge amount of money to them. 2 days later, they all met up in the local cafe. They were talking to the lady who was telling them about the will and going through how much money they were getting. The lady took out a bottle of champagne and said, "I took it on myself to buy this champagne to celebrate." Sarah and her cousins took a glass each. After a while, the women felt drowsy, and the woman gave a sinister smile, then said, "Did you notice how quiet the cafe is? That's because it is a Monday, and this cafe doesn't open on a Monday, but I took it on myself to give the owner a false name and rent it out." Sarah and her cousins were getting more and more drowsy. The waiter came up to them and said, "Do you notice me? And the lady talking about a fabricated will that you were talking to? Well, maybe not, because you were probably too busy bullying us to get to know us at all, weren't ye?" The realization dawned on Sarah and her cousins. It was 2 girls who were bullied by them every single day in middle school. The girls spoke again. "Well, yes, ye have bullied us day in day out in school, but we are getting our payback now." Sarah shut her eyes, while the 2 bully victims smiled with satisfaction knowing their bullies have been poisoned.